Hey guys, what is going on? So in this video, I've been having issues with fish aggression, specifically in my mollies, as you guys know, and I'm like, okay, I can't make a live stream tonight because my phone's dead. Of all things, that is dead at the moment. Um, but I'm like, what can I do? I want to post a video tonight, and I do have other videos I want to post too. But I'm like, you know what? I want to keep, you know, the fish tank updated and see what I can talk about, And I'm like, okay, besides the ick, besides the fungus, besides everything that has been going on in my tank over the last few weeks, what's going on in my tank? In terms of the aggression with one of my fish, because I'm having issues with my mollies being aggressive. I'm having issues with other fish being aggressive because of decorations. So I'm like, you know what? I haven't talked about aggression on the channel, and fish aggression mainly. Because I usually own fish, and I don't really own hermit crabs anymore, so I can't really talk about that. Hence, can I not show you that because I don't have any crabs to show you that with. So, hence fish aggression. So, I've been having issues with these fish, and I believe it's a mixture of my fish not having enough places to hide and or my fish being too small and not able to defend themselves against other fish. So I have a molly that is full grown, fully capable of defending himself against another fish. Now I have another molly, and every single time I get mollies, one is full grown, sailfin, gets fungus. Another one is full grown, dies. So I've been having issues with mollies over the past few weeks, and it's pain in the butt, honestly, because I get a sailfin, it dies. I get something I want, it dies. I get this, it dies. I had black belly lemur in my tank. They die because it's molly aggression. And, males are pretty, but just because of the way the pet store works, people want male fish. People want pretty fish. They don't want females. In my case, my whole female population died. I only have two females per molly. So my Liberty mollies have a female, which is crap too because I can't get her to become pregnant because she doesn't want to. She keeps rejecting the male sperm. Obviously, over the past few weeks of this male pursuing this female, she would have already became pregnant, and the female can reject sperm. So she's been doing that with this male. I don't know why. But obviously every female is different. Maybe she sees another male in there that's prettier that won't breed with this female, or that she wants to breed with, but the male is interested in another female. But I have multiple male mollies in my aquarium, and I guess it's pretty interesting as well. And I'm gonna flip through photos. So this is a molly, and yes, that is a goldfish. Don't judge me. That's a really large goldfish in tank of mollies. I want to have there, and yeah, it in my tank, and it did really well. Bro, wow. I actually saved him because he had fungus on him. One of them had fungus on the tail. I think, yeah, he's in the tank with tiger barbs too. Yeah. My luck. But, better goldfish, better in a tank than a fair. So anyways, I had this as I through photos and find a different photo. I had this molly, and I'm trying to figure out the aggression. Mollies can be aggressive for either one or two reasons. They can be aggressive because they don't have enough females. They can be aggressive because they don't have enough um, places to hide. They can be aggressive because they're trying to be dominant. So with guppies, this is a lot less provoked. Mollies are a lot more dominant than guppies are. Like I have one male guppy, and I just lost the other one, the lyre tail, unfortunately. But that could have been due to the same reason, or the fish was just old. Honestly, I think the fish was just old and it wasn't wanting to breed. But these mollies went after guppies, they went after they went after catfish, they went after this, they went after that. So I don't know what exactly is going on yet, but I think it may be due to there's not enough females, because every time this molly gets close to a female, the male will chase them away from his female. So they have their pairs, and there's just this random small molly that, is pretty, and I'm like, okay, if I get a gourami and a molly, they'll do great. The thing will be broken up. Well, this molly fell in love with this female. This tiny little molly fell in love with the female. So now, A, do I separate them, or B, do I let them breed and beat up each other? In terms of this, the molly does its own thing. He's staying away from the other fish, which is good. I just saw him and he's like hiding a lot, which is okay too. I mean, it's better if he hides and grows and eats than gets beaten up under the molly when he can literally outgrow this molly. This molly is a lyre tail as well. They only get 4 or 5 inches, which the males get 6. Of these self in genetic pool. So I mean, it pretty much depends on who's dominant and who's the bigger molly. Unfortunately, I got this guy very tiny. He is very pretty though. He's like gold molly. I believe he's a 24K gold molly, which is, I think, rarer than the other strain that I have now. But aggression in fish can stem from so many different things. Decorations. If there's enough of the species, now you can get one male, and that male will target that female, and that female can reject the sperm. I've never had my 2 females reject sperm with my males that I have. So I don't honestly think it's a female per female thing. I just think it's a male per female thing, because obviously you can get a male and female, they'll breed. I've had this pair in my tank for the longest time. The 2 others died, and they were doing pretty well. They were breeding, they were having babies, up to 10, 20 babies, 30 babies, something like that. And they're doing pretty well. They were producing, they were doing this, they were doing that. Then I get these Liberty mollies, and they're beating up everything, ripping the scales off my catfish, and other guppies. So they were definitely aggressive. And then this other molly gets aggressive, and I don't know. I think it's more because they're not beating up fish anymore. So there's definitely more hiding places. There's definitely more. So it's a mixture of the amount that I don't want to return a couple of mollies to have to buy a female. I essentially have to buy 2 females, which would be probably $6, in order to get my mollies to breed, and be okay with breeding. So, or 3 mollies at least, plus the mollies that I have, so it wouldn't generally work out. Um, Plus the mollies may have issues. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's always a time in owning an aquarium where you literally, like, I literally want to figure out how to do this. So if I ever run into it, and like, I don't want to hang on. Like, I don't want to per se, oh, I like, I don't want to, like, so this is a female molly right here, a female guppy right here. This is a male guppy. This is a male. This is a female, I believe. This is a male. That's a male. That's a male in the back there. Like, as I was saying, like, I think that's crayfish. Or, yeah, it's a type of crayfish. I don't know what that is. Oh. So as I was saying, like, I don't want, like, here. This is what they do to the female. They'll chase after the female like that and try to breed with her. As you can see, I have multiple females in here, and multiple males are going after multiple females. I also have a baby molly in here as well. That is a female, and they breed like this. So you get 2 females per 1 male. 2 males and 1 female. 3 males and 1 female. That's 2. So you can see how aggressive they are, that 1 female, and what I want to try, this is what I want to do. Because I don't want to keep buying fish, and then have to not solve the problem. Because this may, let's say if I get an aggressive male, I'm going to ruin the, then there's going to be more of a dominant male in the aquarium, which I don't want to do. Like, I don't want to lose the Liberty mollies, so it's like, right now, I want to try to fit, because if I have mollies that are fine, right? And what they need to do is breed male and female. So if they breed another female, that's great. And then, like, I can take that female and breed it with the other mollies. So the other mollies will breed with that. And then as those mollies breed again, like, I want to solve it myself, because I'm going to be doing this eventually, essentially for, to sell them. So I want to be able to not ruin my strain of guppy, of molly, versus, like, I don't want to get a random female that's pregnant and have her, throw out different sperm. And you can also run into this, by the way. This is a guppy with scoliosis. Like, I don't want to run into... That's also platy. So, like, I don't want to run into issues where that's also another molly. So this is pretty much a gold female. I think I got her a long time ago to breed with the male in here, if I could find the male. And she was probably from the same strain or a different strain. He is a little more yellow than that female was. The female was a little more oranger. This is another strain I have of, so this is a male. And behind here, this is the female. These were both males. I think one was a female, one was a male. These were Dalmatian mollies, and if I can find the female, That's male. That's female. So that's the. I think that's a male. So that's a male, and that's a female. You can see that how the females were chunkier. That is a Molly though. I believe it's a female. I'm not sure. Hang on. Trying to find a Molly. I'll crayfish rods today, I guess. So I didn't want to like switch my strain out at all because I'm trying to create multiple strains so I can give them to a pet store for cash. But also have fun breeding them as well. Like look at that strain, that other Salefin that I had. So this was actually a Salefin from Petco. That is a male. So that's what I mean by Salefin Molly. You could see the bigger fin there on the Molly. And what I was planning to do is keep the. So if I can handle this male and this aggression for a while, within like a month, those females will be like double the size in there. And if they are females or if they are males, but if they are females, it's gonna be good because then my mollies can go and spread out a little bit. Then the aggression will subside. I can catch them if I wanted to and personally feed them so they do get bigger, but they're pretty decently sized already. So I don't want to like push them or stress them out and have them die and have to go get a female. So like that would be my plan to order like I don't want to like I want to solve it like with my mollies, my own mollies versus adding a molly with other genetics in my aquarium and then switching the genetics and the health of my fish versus having fish that are not from the strain, like are not from the are not used to my water, so they are weaker. Like I don't want to get another weaker fish and then have them breed with my fish and make my gene and change the genetics in my tank to where the fish live shorter lives. I want to stick with the fish I have now so they live longer and then they live a longer life and breed better and live better in my aquarium versus getting another molly that could live shorter or that could have weaker genes and have them bred with mine to mix up the genes and have them live shorter lives possibly if I do get mollies like that. Like I'd rather stick with a stronger strain than mix genetics and possibly have a weaker strain of molly that dies quicker or that dies in a shorter time period. So Salefin mollies generally live for about a year, but if they're genetically bred into a domesticated molly, they could live longer, they could live shorter lives. But green Salefin molly males live for about a year. Whether or not in captivity or not, their general lifespan is a year. And, I'd rather prolong that if I can. And have that genetic pool as well as other molly genetics in my aquarium. The good thing about mollies is they're so adaptable too, and they're so used to that aggression that, they'll hide, they'll dominate. So once this male gets bigger, hopefully he'll dominate. And if you get another male that's dominant, both males may pick on this one female. This one male. And And the one male is generally um, not as aggressive. So if you had two males, that may make them double aggressive, and they'll stress out the male, and the male will die. So I'd rather have him being able to defend himself once he gets bigger, and me like waiting for it rather than adding more of a problem into my aquarium. So that's why, like, in the short period of time, adding more females would solve the problem, but in the long run it wouldn't, because then you would have more of an issue with genetics, which people don't think of, than like if you're wanting to sell them, or if you're just wanting good genetic fish. Because like most of the sailfin mollies in the fish keeping industry come from overseas, and they are sent in saltwater. Like we use saltwater versus using freshwater, which it's easier to make saltwater, believe it or not, in these areas than it is fresh. So they'd rather use salt, and then they come to us and they die. So that's why if you get a sailfin molly that's not domestically bred, the molly will most likely die. And I've had 3 to 6 mollies to say 100%. If you have a sailfin molly that is sent to you from brackish water, it will most likely 99% die in your aquarium. And that's just because it was bred in saltwater, it's used to saltwater. So if you don't add salt in your aquarium, the molly will crash. Now, I wouldn't essentially put salt in all your aquariums. If they're domesticated breeds, normally, like if they're domesticated on the area, like in the US, or in, a state where they're freshwater mollies, then you don't have to add salt, but it wouldn't hurt. But also, like, if it's a molly from overseas, then you would probably have to add salt. And the way you would know that is because if you go to a local pet store like Petco, PetSmart, or anything like that, where they literally send fish from overseas, then you would want to 100% add aquarium salt into your aquarium. Not saying that's a 100% fix, but that's what I've noticed. And like a lot of the time with these mollies as well, you would have to literally treat them for fungus, treat them for fungus, then treat them for ick. And that's what my mollies went through. They went through my other libraries, my black chinned or black bellied lemia had fungus on them, and then they went through a bacterial infection with ick. So, like, and then my other live bears got fungus on their lips, so on the fish's mouth, so it was a mouth fungus. So, like, you don't want to. I mean, that's when like, the molly isn't, hardy enough to deal with these diseases in a freshwater hobby, and that's how you know that they're saltwater raised and not adapted to freshwater before they're sent to the pet store. And believe it or not, the pet store does not care for their fish the right way. I've gone into Petco, and I've got to say, I've gone into their stores, and they don't always have the hardest fish. I went to Petco, and they were selling fish with fungus on their mouth, and then I go there again, and all the fish in that tank were in a quarantine tank, so they didn't catch it before I bought them, and which is not their fault. And then I go to PetSmart, where there's usually healthy fish, and all of the live bears, literally like 20 or 30 live bears, died and were attached to a filter, and um, people wouldn't do anything about it. They were just, oh yeah, let's leave fish in here, and hopefully we sell them. That's not the best selling point, but anyways, yeah, you don't want to deal with that with any live bear. Sorry. So, I mean, in the long run, what I would do is make sure your tank is well planted. B, if you're going to get a male, buy 2 females before you get that male. Then introduce the male so you don't run into what I ran into. Also, if you want, I think Petco does sell females, if I'm not correct, or they sell guppy females, but I believe they sell female mollies too. I'm not totally sure about that. But, yeah, and I just said not to buy from Petco. Yeah, so buy from a local pet store, a local breeder that is not a chain pet store. Because most likely the chain pet stores will not sell female mollies or don't usually sell female fish, excuse me. So either buy a female from online and or a Petco or PetSmart. So Petco in general is a good chain, but the individual stores vary within the U.S. And it could vary, every week you go there most likely. But so A, buy the females online. B, make sure you have 2 females in your tank before adding the male, or buying 2 females the same time you add the male. And C, make sure you get healthy genetics. A lot of times, like I said, these mollies don't do well without aquarium salt. And make sure you have aquarium salt, because you don't want to be in a position where you don't have anything to combat the diseases you have. Oh, and make sure your tank has tons of hiding places, as well as enough food and varied food to feed the mollies you are going to get, as well as the babies of those mollies. So like fry food, baby brine shrimp. I feed mine mainly flakes, and yeah, that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And thank you for watching this live. I do have other, or this recording, I do have other recordings that I do as well. And here's a better photo of the male. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next live. Oh, and that is a better view of the self and of the small male molly. Alright, let's stop this.